Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to another Q8 pilot stream. It is 2100 hours local time, 1800 Zulu. We are in beautiful Sheffield in the United Kingdom, and I have utmost pleasure today of showing you the Vulcan, the Avro Vulcan by JustFlight. A word of thanks to the guys over at JustFlight for providing the channel with a preview copy of this rather remarkable aircraft to showcase here on the channel. I'm very excited about this aircraft because if you have been following the channel long enough, you'll probably know that I do not do fighter jets, I do not do bombers, I do not do any kind of military or combat aircraft on the channel. But this aircraft is such an iconic aircraft, and I'll tell you right off the bat that JustFlight has done a phenomenal job to bring a very high level of authenticity, both in terms of the system simulation, the visuals, the graphics, the sounds, and a few house items before we begin. The aircraft is still being worked on as we speak, so it is not yet in its final version. And the sound set, again, this is very important that I mentioned this right off the bat. The Avro Vulcan comes in two versions. There is the version that comes with the Olympus 301 and the Olympus 201. The Olympus 201, it has lower thrust, so it's got about 17,000 foot-pounds of thrust, and whereas the 301 Olympus has 20,000 foot-pounds of thrust. And the lower thrust aircraft, the 201 sound set, is the one that's got the howl that everyone is very accustomed to and sort of look forward to hearing. That sound set is currently being worked on by JustFlight, and it will be available with the release, which is, by the way, 3 days away. The aircraft is scheduled today to be released to the public on the 28th of November, and it's going to be available initially through the JustFlight store and followed by the marketplace, and it's going to be available for PC and Xbox. The price of the aircraft is surprisingly $32.99, and the guys over at JustFlight told me that the reason that they priced this aircraft at a friendly pricing level is that they want to give something back to the community, for one, and there are of course other reasons, but the main reason is that they felt they wanted to give something back to the community and they wanted to make this aircraft affordable. But after you see the complexity and the fidelity of this aircraft, I could easily say that this aircraft is worth about $50. So I want to welcome all of you guys in chat. The alerts have been muted today for this live stream, and moving forward for the review streams, I'm going to turn off the alerts. A lot of you guys have complained when we did the Technim review, so the alerts are off today, but I welcome all of you guys to the stream, and thank you very much for joining me this evening. We are at Doncaster in Sheffield, and we're going to begin by taking a look at this rather beautiful rendition of the Avro Vulcan. Every little detail and switch has been modeled in this aircraft, and we're going to be flying today Zulu Hotel 558, which is such an iconic aircraft and still exists in exactly this airport in real life. The Spirit of Great Britain from 1960 to 2010. Just look at the fidelity there. Very beautiful rendition of the aircraft. They've done a remarkable job. Obviously, they've had access to a real Vulcan, and every little detail. Just look at the undercarriage here and the landing gear, the bomb bay. Everything just looks so nice and very crisp and very authentic. Very, very nice aircraft. I love the Delta wing, and this is what makes the Vulcan a very special aircraft, considering the time, the era during which this aircraft was developed is testimony to human ability and fine engineering. Really, it calls for a lot of pride. I'm sure that folks in the United Kingdom will very fondly remember this aircraft, and definitely brings a lot of pride when they look at the UK flag there on the aircraft. Such marvel in terms of engineering and the history of aviation. It reminds me a lot of the B-1 bomber. Hello, Duncan. Thank you very much, sir, for your 33 months of support. I appreciate it. Dougal McTavish, welcome. Glad to have you here. Very, very nice rendition of the aircrafts in every respect. Really, the guys over at JustFlight, they just keep pushing themselves, and with every new add-on, they kind of just pull one level up. For some reason, I think that their aircraft are a bit underrated, if you ask me, because the BAE 146, the Fokker 28, haven't really. I mean, they're great aircraft, and we have seen a lot of streams on them, but somehow they get forgotten for some reason. I don't know why. Just look at the details there. Very, very nice details. All right, let's hop into the cockpit here, and again, I want to show you this rather. I'm lost for words. Just look at this, guys. Look at how beautiful this is. Let me switch to the internal here. All right, I'm gonna go to set my position here. All right, so if we look here at the details, just fine details everywhere. And this is, by the way, 8K textures, and they're gonna have on release, they're gonna have a 4K replacement for those of you who have less VRAM. But just looking at the fidelity here of the texture work is just incredible. Look at those details. Look at the panel work there. This is exactly a photoreal. I mean, look at the details there. It gives definitely the look of an aged aircraft that has a lot of buttons and a lot of switches. And for our flight today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the kind of a minimalist checklist, so that, if you decide you want to purchase this aircraft, hopefully, if you come back to this video, it'll be very easy for you to operate the aircraft. It's got, of course, an EFB, so let me bring that up here. And because the autopilot system aboard the Vulcan is a very complex autopilot, the guys over at JustFlight have included a GPS device here, which makes things a little bit easier to fly the aircraft. Just look at the details there. Again, this is the first officer or the co-pilot area here. Just look at all these buttons. By the way, everything on this aircraft is operable. So listen to those sounds. Very, very nice. All the switches. There is nothing inop on this aircraft. All the switches that you see here are operational, and they serve a purpose. Very, very nice. Very detailed and very nice work in terms of the texturing here. And the engineer station. So I've created a, this is the engineer station where, the electric systems of the aircraft are managed. We're going to get to that in a minute, but first let's take a look at some of the features. Again, one of the nice things you'll see that JustFlight has modeled is the sunshades here. And this is obviously a nuclear bomber. And you'll see, let me just put this down here. So this is the sunshades, which are very well implemented, by the way. But what you'll also find is this little cover here. And when you put this down, it completely blocks the windows, obviously to protect the pilot eyes from a nuclear explosion. So the lights normally are very bright. So this is to protect the pilots, which, again, I really like the fact that, they've modeled this to really bring that level of authenticity to, to the simulation of the Avro, which I really, really like. I think they have done a phenomenal job, really. It is indeed Boeing Corp from Logan, New Jersey. It is indeed a majestic majestic bird. And I'm just amazed at the level of complexity, not just what JustFlight has done, but that this has actually existed in the 1960s. That's amazing, guys. I mean, again, testament of human ability and just ingenuity of us humans. This was created in a time where things were very rudimentary in almost every respect. So very, very nice rendition. So also, you'll find that JustFlight has created an electronic flight bag here to manage the aircraft, where you can, from the settings menu here, you can sync the altimeters, state saving, GPS navigation, cockpit pilot. So you can actually toggle. Let me just toggle that here, and you'll be able to see the pilot. I think we need to reset the view. We'll be able to see the pilot. I'm going to remove it for now. We'll probably bring it back once we are airborne, so you guys can see it, because it will be, he will block, the pilot here will block the instruments here, so we're going to need those. And you can also do a realistic steer, auto shoot jet. Now, if you enable the auto shoot jet, you enable it with these buttons here, but you can set it to be automated, and once the aircraft reaches 60 knots, it will automatically deploy. We are going to use the manual way today, so once we land, we'll just click here to deploy the chute. And does the ejection seat work? I haven't tried. I don't know, but probably no. Probably it doesn't. It has the safety pin covers, though, right here. So you click them here, and then you can click back here to put them back, which is pretty cool. And you can obviously select the different type of bombs that you want to load the aircraft with. We can put, for example, on the MRR pods on the right and left wings. And if we go to the outside, you'll see them here now deployed, which is pretty cool. And you have multiple things, multiple configurations that you can do with the aircraft. You can add the cylinder tanks. You can add the Mk13 bombs. You can do all sorts of things with the electronic flight bag. You can also, let's come over here, and from the airplane icon, you have access to the K2 tanker. You can toggle the engines. Obviously, we are on with the Zulu Hotel 558. It's equipped with the Olympus 201 engines, but the sound set that you're going to be hearing today is that of the 301 Olympus. TFR dome, that's for the front, ECM, so you can, again, you can have the antennas, you can turn them on or off, and you also have A-to-A refueling as well. And here, this is where you can manage the aircraft fuel, currently set to 100%. We can go to probably 75% for the flight. We don't need full tanks today for our flight. And the nice thing that they've done also is, because the TACON radio is very complex to use on the aircraft, they've included this here for you so that you can manage the frequencies. We're going to see this in action today during our flight. The actual radio is located down here and right here. So these are your frequencies. So this is 124.85. That's how it is. So that's what it corresponds for, and that's how you set it here. As you can see now, it says 3, so that's 118.85, and that's how you you manage your radios on the aircraft. You've got the first pilot view. Then we can go to the second pilot view here. You have also access to the engineer station and the navigator station. But for our purpose today, I am going to use my own presets for the views. It takes a little bit of getting used to, because you have to kind of switch between places. But what we're going to be doing today, folks, for this flight is Pilot Peely. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here with us today. What we're going to do is we're going to begin with powering up the aircraft, and then we're going to move sort of from the left to the right, setting up the aircraft. And I'm going to skip a lot of the items in the checklist because, let me tell you why. Because the items, look at the internal checks, you've got 68. And again, I love the fact that you have everything here for, the start from the internal checks to starting the engines. Starting the engines can happen in two ways. On the Avro Vulcan, there is a rapid start, which starts all of your engines together, or the normal start, which is one by one. We're going to be using the rapid start today. And of course, I will introduce you to more of the aircraft functions as we go. All right, so I think we are in a position to begin the preparation for our flight. We're going to be flying today from Sheffield to London Heathrow, and we're going to be cruising at a final cruise altitude of 18,000 feet. All right, so the first thing first is we are going to come here and let's see here. First thing is we're going to turn the oxygen on the first officer and captain sides. Listen to the sounds. And you can see here the white means that it's engaged. I love how they've modeled this. You see that? Very, very nice. And the next thing is we need to set up the electrical system. So for that, we are going to head over to the engineer station here. And the battery switch is located here. Battery is on. I think lovely, lovely sounds. Very nice animations. The blinking of the lights, very, very well done. And we are going to start the APU, but first, let me come to the, let's remove that. We are going to come here and we're going to bring up the ground power and the air unit. We're going to remove the chocks and the covers, and we'll leave those for now. All right, perfect. All right. So now we can hear the ground power unit starting. Now you have the ground power supplying the aircraft with electrical power. And actually, if you move to the outside, here you'll see that everything is modeled. So you have the air unit and the ground power unit as well. Very, very nice details by JustFlight. Really amazing work by those guys. Very talented team. This is, by the way, built by the in-house development team at JustFlight. All right, so we've got here, we're going to make sure that everything here, we're going to trip this and reset it, and everything looks good. And now we can start the APU unit. To start the APU, or the auxiliary power plant, is what is the equivalent here to an APU. It's called the auxiliary power plant. And by the way, I highly recommend that you go through the manual. There is a tutorial that would help you fly the aircraft and learn, all these things. So I've had a little bit of time to go through some of the items. So the first thing is we're going to do the fire test here. Make sure the fire test is okay. We're going to open the LP cock, and very strange, very strange name. But, okay, and then we're going to go for the oxygen, and all right, let's start the master switch. Oxygen and relight switch is on, and now we can start the APU by pressing here. You see the yellow light illuminates, and you can see the pressure rising, and the temperature is rising as well. Excellent. And it is now stable. You see the button just kind of comes out. And now we can click on the APP on. APP is on, and we're going to come down here and turn on the alternators 1 and 4. And we are pretty much done here with the electrical setup for the time being. And now we can move on to the first officer, or the captain side. All right, so on the captain's side, there are a few things. Let me put this up, so there. So it's not in the way. So the first thing we're going to do here is we are going to turn on our radios. Right, radio is now on. And we're going to make sure that the bomb bay door is open. We can close it now. By the way, here's the indication. So right here says bomb doors. As you can see now, it is open. And when it's closed, then this becomes black. So that's how you know that it is closed or open. Okay. Oxygen is good. We're going to come down here and we're going to check the hydraulic pressure. It looks like we've lost. We need to pressurize the hydraulic system. And to do this, we're just simply going to click here. And now we can see that the hydraulic pressure is set. And moving up here, we're going to open the fuel. Again, they're called fuel cogs. So we're going to open this here and turn these guys on. All right, perfect. And we'll get to this in a minute. We're going to check here the fuel quantity. The fuel is good for our flight, so we have sufficient fuel. We're going to make sure this switch is on the MFS. And no, this is not Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is actually what is on the aircraft. We're going to make sure that the switch here is set on takeoff, and that the JPT limiter is set on. The emergency air supply switch or lever is all the way in, and auto engage. This is inoperable, I suppose. Now, one thing interesting I want to show you is this panel here, and this is quite smart because if you the Avro Vulcan is very cramped, and I like the fact that they have this so you can actually put it in, for the pilots to have a seat. And once they are situated, they can pull this out to set the fuel pumps as well as the autopilot system. So the fuel pumps, you can test the fuel pumps here. So if you look here, fuel pressure, you have here, you want to see it, click on pump 1. And now you see that the light has gone away. We're going to turn on all 12 fuel pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, actually 14. All right, so all 14. And then we're going to come down here to the autopilot. That's rudder, aileron, and elevators. They are all turned on. Now we're going to turn on the autopilot system, wait for the ready switch to turn white to indicate that the autopilot system is operational. Takes a little bit of time for it to start. There you go. As you can see now, you have the white light and it looks good. And this is the engage button. This is the glide is used. So track is depending on the autopilot selection that you've put. It's either going to go on heading select, or it's going to follow the flight plan. So the GPS flight plan that we've loaded, which what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be using, of course, heading select. And the glides for actually this aircraft is fully ILS capable, so it will intercept an ILS and it will actually glide towards the runway. And we will be demonstrating this today during the flight. We have IAS and altitude. Now, currently there is a problem with the autopilot, so it's being refined by JustFlight. There is an issue with the IAS as it will engage at a lower speed than the one that you've actually engaged the IAS mode at. That is something that that is work in progress, and the guys over at JustFlight will be fixing this in the days to come, right before release. Very quickly here on the autopilot, if you put it on remote, so this is what we're going to be doing today. Remote is going to be following the GPS flight plan that we've set up. Bomb here is similar to heading select. The loc is the localizer, so when we intercept the localizer, and GP is the glide path. And then, of course, for the glide path, we need to make sure that this is set on approach and that we engage the glide path here in order for the aircraft to glide towards the runway. All right, perfect. We're going to make sure that the DI switches are off, and we're going to come down here. Everything here looks good. Okay. So we're going to come down here and we're going to make sure that the engine air switches are all shut, as well as the cabin air, are both shut. We're going to come to the pressure selector. We're going to set this to cruise. And we're going to guard it. Perfect. And next we're going to come here and turn on the external lights, and the nav lights go to steady. Now let me show you here. Right here is the avionics switch, which is, let me see. All right, so here's the AVS avionics main switch is on, and you turn this guy on for the avionics to come on. We'll do that a little later on. But for now, we're pretty much complete. The pre-flight checklist is now complete. One more thing we need to do, we need to bring the auto throttles here. So we're going to just click on them to put them in the on position. Let me hide this. By the way, if you want to hide the electronic flight bag, you can simply click here and it just goes away. So you don't see it here and you don't see it here. All right. So what we're going to be doing, folks, is a rapid start. And the rapid start, we need to take the throttle to 50%, right? So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to take this to about 50% right here. And then we're going to move over to the panel here. All right. Let's see here. All right. So in here, we are going to select the engine ignition switch on, the master switch on, and we're going to switch this button to rapid. And now we are ready to start the engines. We just click here. Listen to the sounds. Wow. Let's switch to the outside. Hell yeah. Hey there, Scott. How are you doing, Scott? Very glad that you were able to make it. Appreciate it very much. All right, if you all guys are unable to hear me and the sounds are too loud, just let me know. I can bring it down a little bit for this sim. If you can hear me fine, that's okay. Then we're good to go. All right. So now that we have the engines started, I love this rapid mode. Sound okay? All right, perfect. I love this rapid mode. It just starts all the engines all with one button. We're gonna retard the throttles now. All right, and let's head over back to the engineer station. All right, so now we can turn on our generators. So right here, we turn these guys on, and on. Perfect. And we're gonna come here. We're gonna select this to alternator 2, and we're gonna turn these guys on, alternator 2 and 3. So we turn these on. Excellent. And we are done now with the electrical power. Everything is configured properly. And we can head over to the first officer side. All right. Captain side, beg your pardon. I keep missing this today. All right, so we're going to switch this to yaw damper 1. And we're going to start the pitch dampers and auto trim controls. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to turn all of these on. Now what you want to achieve is that all these lights should go out. Those should go out. I did click these, right? All right, there we go. All right, perfect. All right, so we want no lights here. The master caution lights, again, are extinguished. And we can now go to close the bomb bay door. And we're going to verify that it's closed. So if you recall, I told you when it's white, it's open. And now you see the bomb door here is black, so it means it's closed. And we can set this back to auto. Perfect. We are pretty much now ready to go. And the only thing is we need to bring up our flight plan. So our flight plan is quite simple. This is our flight plan today. And let me just go to the map real quick. So this is our route that we're going to take out of Sheffield here. And we're going to be heading over to London Heathrow. And everything here looks good. Perfect. So we're going to put this back on the flight plan. And of course we have, I haven't started Navigraph yet, right? All right, let's bring up Navigraph so we can follow along and see where we're heading today. How much will the Vulcan cost? It's going to cost $32.99. And by the way, folks, I think this price is a real bargain, if you ask me. Considering the level of details, the fidelity, the sounds, this aircraft is worth more, in my view. And I don't say this just because JustFlight has given me the aircraft to preview. I honestly, truly believe that this aircraft is definitely worth more than the asking price. Yeah, so $32.99 for this beast. All right. So we are done here with everything. Everything's ready to go. We're going to come down here. We're going to put the taxi lights on. Right, taxi lights are on, and we are good to go. All right, let's switch. One more thing we need to do. Where's the... All right, so we need to close the crew door, and we're going to remove the ground power unit. God, it's so much quieter now. All right. So all is done here. We are good to go, and we can remove the electronic flight pack. Let's switch to the external view here. Takes a little bit of time here for the ground power equipment to be removed, so we'll just give it a little bit of time here. Just look at how beautiful. There you go. The air unit is gone, and the ground power unit will go away in just a second here. There we go. And we are now ready to go. Look at the beacon lights, guys. Look at how beautiful this is. I love it. Look at that. I mean, every little detail has been very, very carefully thought of. And it's just really very, very fine details that the guys over at JustFlight has put into this aircraft, and I really commend them for the remarkable work that they've done on this aircraft. By the way, I've flown this aircraft in X-Plane, and I absolutely loved it in X-Plane. But in all honesty, I like it much better here in Microsoft Flight Sim. The fidelity of the textures are just second to none. I haven't seen anything, this detailed. Very, very nice work. Hopefully we'll also change the time during the flight maybe and show you the night lighting, because it's quite spectacular as well. All right, rapid start is real-world feature of the aircraft to reduce the ground. Yeah, it is definitely a real-world feature. Yeah, everything on this aircraft you see here is pretty much real-world. All right, so we're going to come here to the autopilot system. We're going to make sure this on remote, because we are going to be using the GPS unit, and we are now ready to taxi. So let's release the parking brakes, which is right here. Parking brakes is released, and there we go. We're good to go. Beautiful looking aircraft. Just look at that. Look at the shape of those wings. Wow. All right, back in the cockpit. Everything's looking good. And we are ready for departure. Now for the takeoff, And for both, by the way, in real life and in the sim. So this has been properly simulated by JustFlight. The Avro Vulcan requires the full pressure on the yoke to keep the aircraft on the ground while during the takeoff roll. So it has a tendency for the nose to go up, and that is true to life. And properly simulated, right? Landing lights are on, and if you look here now on the outside, it switches to the landing lights, so the position of the lights actually changes. Gotta love it. You have got to love this aircraft. I mean, this is one combat aircraft that I probably find myself flying it for fun. It is very enjoyable, and it's got that really heavy feel to it. So the takeoff procedure, according to the manual, is holding the brakes. Fly Lilo. Hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. And we have Carl and Drishal. Welcome, guys. Alex, all of you guys are here today. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. All right, let's line up. Runway 20. All right, we're going to hold the brakes. Now, for the takeoff, we're going to set 80% throttle, release the parking brake with full nose pressure, so full forward pressure on the yoke to keep the aircraft on the runway. And as we release the brakes, we're going to set to takeoff power, about 93% is the power for takeoff, and we're going to rotate at about 140 knots. All right, let's do it. Okay, watching the RPM here, going to 80%. Right, 80% is set. Forward pressure on the yoke. Release the parking brakes. And advance the throttle to about 90%, 93%. Listen to those sounds. Looking good. Little off the center line there, 140 knots, and rotate. Nice and slow. And we are airborne. Positive rates, and gears going up. Oh yeah. All right. We're going to let the aircraft accelerate a little bit. So let me trim it. And while we do that, we're going to come here to the autopilot system. Click on track. Engage the autopilot. And the autopilot is now engaged. Right, we're climbing at about 2,000 feet per minute. And here's a look at the outside. Look at that, ladies and gents. The Avro Vulcan by JustFlight in all its glory. Look at those beacon lights there. Very, very nice indeed. Right, we're about 250 knots for the climb. So we're going to ease off there on the throttles a bit. We're looking good. Continue the climb. 4,000 for 18,000. Definitely the climb rate, the Vulcan, everything about the Vulcan is incredible, Dougal. I mean, it's just a remarkable aircraft altogether in every department. There is nothing not to like about this aircraft. All right. We're coming up to 5,000, so we're coming up to 6,000. So we're going to set the baro to standard. Right, 1013 is set. Look at that. Wow. I don't think I've ever gotten excited about a combat aircraft for a sim before. I think this is the first time that I get really excited about, you know, a military aircraft. And just those Delta wings are amazing. Look at that, guys. Look at it. Wow. I tell you, this is a must-have. You absolutely have to get this. You have to get this aircraft. All right, I think we're gonna trim the aircraft a little bit here, and let's just verify that it's doing what it's supposed to do. It is indeed doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Perfect. We're following the flight plan, as you can see here, out of the SID, out of Sheffield here. And all is looking good. We're approaching 10,000 feet. We're going to retract the landing lights. Right, landing lights are off. The aircraft cockpit lights are located here, so this knob, this knob, this knob, this one, and this one here. And on the first officer's side, those here. Look at those blinking lights there, the oxygen there. It's really, really nice, the way they've animated this. And by the way, if you go down here, so this is the air refueling system. You can actually flight refueling receiver panel. So what you can actually do, let me show you very quickly. If we bring up the EFB, and if we click on the K2 hose, it won't work because we don't have the... Alright, so K2 tanker, and now if we click here on the hose, look at that. It actually stands out for refueling, for air refueling. Look at the, again, the animation and the modeling of the aircraft is just done so nice. I really like it a lot. Alright, so we can remove that now. There we go. And we can hide the EFB. Set my view. There we go. By the way, another thing that is useful probably for you guys, once you start getting acquainted with the aircraft, JustFlight has implemented a couple of shortcuts to help you navigate between the cockpit view and the engineer station. And if you look here, you see this little screw. This is actually a hotspot. So if you click it, let me go here. There we go. Why is it not working today? Strange. So clicking this hotspot should take you to the engineer station. Maybe because I'm in a non-standard view, I've created my own views for this aircraft. Let me try to... Yeah, it's not working. Alright. Well, anyway, when you do purchase the aircraft, if you click on these, it should take you to the navigator, to the electrical panel, basically. And then from the electrical panel, if you click on the screw, it'll take you back here. See if this actually works. So this screw actually take you back, but I've set up you know, my own views. I think that's why it doesn't work. I've overwritten the ones that came with the aircraft. I saw the Zulu Hotel 558 lining up to landing in Southland Airport. They were testing to see the... Oh, how cool. You're very lucky, I have to say. You're very, very lucky. Right, we are at 18,000. Let's come here and do the alt hold. Right, alt hold is set. We got a little bit carried away, but that's okay. We're going to probably level off at 19,700. All right, and we're going to ease off on the throttle just a bit here and maintain about 260 knots or so. Again, everything is manual, by the way. It does not have an auto throttle, so you have to manually adjust the power for the desired speed. We're going to leave it at about 250 knots. And beautiful day here in the UK as well. Not so much clouds today, but yeah, very nice. Again, just a little bit here back on the throttle, and everything's looking good. Perfect. So if we look here at Navigraph charts, we can see that we are on our way now, and it has followed the path perfectly. All is looking good. 250 knots. So again, just very quickly on what I've done here is this is the IAS hold and this is the alt hold, and the only thing you need to do is move it down and click it once to engage alt hold. We're going to be using IAS for the descent, so we'll take a look at that a little later. And yeah, all is looking very, very good. Very nice work by JustFlight. So I'm happy to take any questions now that we are airborne. There's a good video on YouTube that shows how they recorded the sounds for this. They powered up a real Vulcan to get all the engine sounds, all the cockpit clicks, etc. That is absolutely correct, DB Vetter, yes. They have recorded all the sounds from the real aircraft, and it was a very laborious activity, very laborious task in recording the sound. And they have the, as I mentioned in the beginning, they have both sound sets, the 201 and 301 Olympus sounds. So, so yeah, quite an aircraft, quite detailed, so nice. Everything has been very well thought of. Just look at the details here. The texturing is of the highest order. Really very, very nice, very looking. Just looking very realistic here. I'll give you this shot here. Look at that. Yeah. Just gorgeous. Just really, really gorgeous aircraft. Right, let's take a look at the outside real quick. Absolutely marvelously looking aircraft. By the way, this aircraft is not very heavy on FPS, so here we can bring up the FPS counter. So let me compare it to you guys. So I'm getting about 110 FPS, 122. Let's see, let's just wait for it to stabilize. 122 FPS, which is better than the Cessna. Now it's about the same as the Cessna, the default Asobo Cessna. That's what I get. I get a little more, actually. I get about 160 FPS with the Asobo Cessna, the default one. So this is, in terms of the FPS, it's actually pretty good. With the PMDG, I get like the 90s. With the Phoenix, I get like 85, 80 when we are in cruise. So this one actually is a lot better in terms of FPS, just as a reference, than all the other complex aircraft in the sim. Right, we're looking good here. I'm just going to give the throttle a tad power here. They model the navigator, radar operator, and electronic warfare operator stations on the airplane. So they have the engineer station, not all of it. So if you click here, you'll have this is the engineer station, and just look at the details, guys. Look at the little gauges here and how they are vibrating. And they are not the same, huh? The actual vibration is different. The frequency of it is different. So again, very, very nice details from the guys over at JustFlight, really, with the modeling of this aircraft. So the rest of I don't think they've got the war room, if you will, for the aircraft. But you can open the bay here, and I'm not sure if you can deploy the weapons or not. You probably can, but I am not very familiar with that. I need to probably do a little more digging into the manual. By the way, the manual, let me just very quickly show you guys. The manual, where is the distro preview? No, not that one, this one here. All right. So here, look at this Avro Vulcan. It's got a massive manual here. We've got 154 pages. Again, very detailed. Gives you history about the aircraft, the systems in detail. If you look here, very good documentation as always with JustFlight. You know, all their add-ons are very well documented with proper tutorial flights. It tells you exactly what to do, how to do it. Very, very good work by JustFlight. Really incredible add-on, really at a very reasonable price in my view. All these sales in the Vulcan, I'm going broke, but I'm happy. I'll tell you guys, you know that I do not like military aircraft, generally speaking. But this one is one that I really like a lot, and I really appreciate the level of detail, the fidelity, the complexity that JustFlight has brought into this aircraft. And I don't think I've ever gotten excited about a military aircraft as much as this one. I've done a few for X-Plane, but this one is just absolutely incredible. How fast this can go. It actually can go pretty fast. If we look here, I think 300 knots is the maximum speed. I think it depends on the weight, but it can go to 40,000 feet in about 10 minutes. So that's how fast the aircraft can go. You do the math. For a climb, definitely, it's got very powerful engines. My granddad used to fly on these. Wish it was on X-Plane 12. Oh, really? Oh, wow. That's very cool. Can we see the night lighting? Oh, sure. Yeah. Important to see the night lighting. Okay. So let me change the time a little bit. We'll change it back. That's all right. So we're going to change the time here just a bit so you guys can see the night lighting. And then we're going to bring up the light here. All right. There we go. A little bit of floodlight here. The green light. I like the green light a lot. And we're going to come here also to the first officer's side. And we're going to give it a little bit lighting here. There we go. Maybe not so much here. Maybe a little bit there. And voila! There you have it. Here's the night lighting in this beautiful aircraft. Very, very nice. Here you can see it right there. And by the way, you have the floodlights as well. So you can click here for the floodlights. But yeah, it looks very, very nice during nighttime. Here, let me change this a little further. Maybe here we make it a little darker here. Now you have, again, full appreciation for the night lighting inside the aircraft. Just absolutely gorgeous. Right, there we go. There's the night lighting for you. Turn it off here as well. No degradation whatsoever in performance as you turn the lights on, so it's optimized very well. And by the way, always with JustFlight, I've noticed that even with their complex add-ons, the FPS is always very, very good. Here's a look here over the beautiful United Kingdom. What's this bird like? It's amazing. It is an amazing bird. Yeah. Night lighting is done quite nicely. The sounds, the texturing is just second to none, really. This is how add-ons should be developed, guys. Yeah. I mean, I do not like the cartoonish looking cockpits anymore. And I'll tell you guys, I'll be very, very honest in telling you that when I fly in aircraft in MSFS, and I look at the fidelity of the textures, and then fly like an airplane in X-plane that does not have, you know, very good textures, I kind of feel. Yeah, I understand. Let me put it this way: I understand why a lot of people have abandoned X-plane. The graphics make such a big difference in terms of the immersion that you feel. And the guys over at JustFlight, they have the winning formula for add-ons. Develop an add-on that is, you know, high fidelity with, you know, beautiful texturing inside and out, realistic sounds, realistic look and feel, and that is really the winning formula for add-ons now. Of course, by the way, I did not show you this, but let me show you this real quick. What did I do here? All right. Okay. So let me just bring this up. Okay, so aside from all of the good stuff here that you have, if you click here, you have the regular JustFlight EFB, which has the operational flight plan, the map, the Navigraph charts, which I'm not logged in to yet, the settings, TOD calculator, the checklist, and if you click here back, it takes you back to the aircraft. Which, by the way, speaking of that, let's bring up the radio system, and we're going to go to Navigraph. We can see here we're going to begin our descent at Hahn right here, so we're not too far from the top of descent, but we want to get the arrival for 27 left at London Heathrow. So we're going to click here, and we're going to go to the approach, and we're going to go to 27 left. Let's bring up the charts, and if we look here, the frequency for the ILS is 109.5. So we're going to set this here, 109.5. That's the frequency that we want. And that's pretty much all we need for now. We're going to manage everything else manually. So yeah, all is good here. Speed is good. We are currently at 19,300 feet. So many great new aircraft. My poor wallet. Q8, besides all the fidelity of this bird, I'm a little confused about how excited you are about this, because wasn't you the one stating you are not a fan of military aircraft for a good reason? Yeah, you are absolutely right, and this is what I said right off the bat. If you guys have been following the channel long enough, you know I do not like military aircraft. I'm a man of peace. But this one when the guys over at JustFlight told me, hey Q8, are you interested in showcasing the aircraft? And I said, yes, I am very interested, because I've done a review of this aircraft for X-Plane, and it is such a remarkable aircraft. The work that those guys have done is just incredible. Very iconic aircraft, definitely. And the fidelity and the complexity of everything is done to a very, very high degree, a very high standard. So, so for this reason, I said, yeah, let me take a look. And I do not regret the fact that I am actually flying a military aircraft. I do like it quite a bit, and I think I'm going to be doing more flights on this aircraft. It's just really a fun aircraft to do. I want to learn more about it and how to operate the autopilot system without using the GPS, because such a remarkable aircraft, and JustFlight really have taken this to a next level in terms of the fidelity. I love everything that they create, by the way. They're just really that good. From general aviation to airliners to military jets, very talented in-house development team over at JustFlight. I'm just looking at the order for some sales. I'm looking to get the rotate in the 11 visual speed. Yep. Yeah, this is definitely you know, the aircraft, the Avro Vulcan, again, as I've indicated in the beginning, is a testament of human ability and the ingenuity of human engineering. It is really something to call for pride, I think, for any human being, to know that, you know, we humans, we were able to create something of this level back in the 1960s. This is just great. It's just remarkable. It really amazes me. And very, very iconic aircraft, the Avro Vulcan. All right. We look here at our charts and our flight path. We are getting closer to Han, Hotel Oscar November. At this point, we are going to begin the descent, and we're going to be descending to a final altitude of 2,500 feet, which is the platform altitude at London Heathrow, to intercept the localizer for runway 27 left. And so far, all is looking good. Let's take a look at the aircraft here. External view, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Look at that, guys. Sounds. Oh, that's just great. There we go. There are some custom views there. This is my favorite, to be honest. The Spirit of Great Britain. I like this view a lot. And here's one there. A few more. Those majestic engines. I love the beacon light. Look at that. By the way, on the beacon lights, I've seen a lot. Okay, so there are so many add-ons for Microsoft Flight Sim, but JustFlight is the only developer that gets the beacon lights correctly, and you'll see this also on their Pipers. The beacon light, it actually looks like a rotating beacon, so they get it right. They're about the only ones that get it right. Thanks for letting me know, Matt. I appreciate it. B-Sky Labs SR71. B-Sky Labs is another good developer that focuses entirely on flight model. But recently, what I've noticed is that they've really stepped things up in terms of the texturing. So they are definitely paying a lot of attention to the texture work now of the aircraft. I wonder if we can actually go. Yeah, we can. So this is the. There's so many buttons. Look at this. Radio altimeter, TFR, MFS. By the way, here's your de-ice. And by the way, it's got a wiper. Let me show you the wiper because I think it's really cool. So it's got one on the captain's side and one on the first officer side. So this one here is the wiper. And you can do like both. And then you can do it slow. Pretty cool, huh? And the one that's on the first officer's side only works for the first officer here, so it doesn't. The other one doesn't work. I'm not sure if this is true to life, or I would assume that it is. But yeah, the captain can operate both of them. The first officer can operate only his. And you've got the de-icing and the demist. There is a demist functionality in this aircraft. It looks like there's something here. Yeah, demist and de-iced right here, over here. So everything here is looking good. Also fuel. Here's your fuel gauges, so we're doing okay in terms of fuel. And if we look down here, we are almost at Han, and we will begin the descent shortly. The Concorde for X-Plane is built this well, better IMO. The Concorde, the Collimata, I suppose that you're referring to the Collimata Concorde. It's very good, yes. I have been in one in real life. Oh, really? Lightspeed? You mean you've been in an Avro Vulcan? Wow. I think we are now at Han. Yeah, we are at Han. So here's what we're going to do, folks. We are going to come down here to the autopilot. We are going to disengage the alt hold. And we are going to go to IAS mode and engage that. And then we're going to retard the throttles a little bit. And the aircraft will begin the descent, as you can see here. There we go. Ease off a little bit more. Now, this is the bug I told you guys about. So we were at about 260 knots. And when you engage IS, it goes to a lower speed. That is something that JustFlight is currently working on. So it is work in progress. But, yeah, there we go. We've begun the descent now. And very soon, we will land this beast at London Heathrow. By the way, guys, I appreciate it if you can hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help the channel. And we are getting pretty close to 80,000 subs, which is unbelievable. Thank you very much, guys, for your support. I really, truly appreciate it. And, yeah. I am definitely planning a giveaway. I know that I promised you guys something at 70,000, and I never really gotten around to it. But I assure you that there is going to be a substantial giveaway at the 80,000 subscriber. We're less than 100 subscribers away from 80,000, which just really amazes me. Oh, thank you very much, Rishal. Appreciate it. Very kind of you. Yeah, for $32, it's a real bargain for this aircraft, really. A real bargain. All right. One thing I did notice here is, let me show you. By the way, look at during the descent, look at the details here. You see how the fuel gauges are? Look at that. I mean, this level of detail is something I appreciate a lot. I love it. One thing you'll notice here is that it says nose heavy, tail heavy, and it doesn't change. I'm not sure if this is something. I know that when I click here, it checks okay, but always goes to nose heavy. I'm not sure if that's something I've done wrong, or is this correct? I really am not sure, but I just wanted to point that out. Thank you very much, Matt. I appreciate it, my friend. I appreciate it very much. I'll offer you a prize for 80k subs, one copy of this Vulcan if you wish, Q8 Pilot. Oh, Scott, thank you very much for your offer. There you have it, guys. Scott, thank you very much. That's very, very kind of you, sir. Guys, by the way, Scott is the lead person behind JustFlight. Thank you very much for hanging out with us today, Scott. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your very gracious offer there, which I will very humbly accept. Thank you very much, Scott. So, guys, we're going to have another stream on the Vulcan as soon as we hit the 80,000. The aircraft will probably be released by then, and we will do a giveaway courtesy of JustFlight. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. It's very, very kind of you. Right, we're going to 14,000. We're looking good. And if we look here, all right, so here's what I'm going to do, guys. Once we are at, once we reach Bravo November, we're going to take off, we're going to switch the autopilot. Here, let me show you what I'm going to do. We're going to switch the autopilot to bomb. That will give us heading mode. And then we're going to come to this little bug here, and we're going to move this to a heading of, we're going to fly east, basically, from Bravo November. We're going to fly east, and then we are going according to the flight plan here. So from BNN, we're going to fly east all the way here. It's going to give us a little bit of maneuvering area because the Avro Vulcan is quite huge, but don't be fooled by its size. At lower speeds, it is highly maneuverable aircraft, and it actually is actually very fun to hand fly. So once we are at Bravo November, we'll switch to heading mode. We're going to fly east all the way right about here. Then we're going to fly south to intercept the localizer for runway 27 left, and fly a heading of 269 degrees, and we're engage the glide as well, the localizer, the glide path, and we're going to glide the aircraft and just watch the aircraft glide towards the runway. Hopefully it works as it should. I've done one test flight of this aircraft, and everything just went according to just by the book. Everything that's in the manual worked exactly as it should. Of course, I've done a kind of a minimalist checklist today because I don't want this stream to be very long, but I've showed you guys everything you need to know to operate the aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim. Definitely, it's a piece of art, without a doubt. All right, let's see where we are here in terms of the flight plan. All right, we're still good, and our altitude is good. We continue the descent. Maybe we can descend just a tad faster, but we'll leave it. 1,000 feet per minute is perfectly okay. We are at about 210 knots, which is reasonable. That's fine. We could go a little faster, but that's all right. Let's take a look. Look at this aircraft. By the way, folks, we are using today Rex Accu Season Advanced Edition, and I think, in my view, it really revamps the sim completely, and I really can't fly without it now. Flying over the UK is just beautiful, and of course we have all three products from Orbex Simulation, London North, Central, and South. I still need to do that video for you guys, but this looks amazing. Look at it. Wow. Right, looking good. 900,000. Let's go ahead and turn on the landing lights. Landing lights are on. I'm gonna set the altimeter 1020. The transition altitude in the UK is at least at London Heathrow area is 6,000 feet. So we're gonna go ahead and set it now and continue the descent. Right, we're heading over to Bravo November now. There we go. Ease off there a little bit on the throttle and increase our rate of descent. Such a majestic aircraft. Looking good. Excellent. Okay. Now, I do not have a point of reference, so the only thing that I can use is Navigraph charts. And Renan de Oliveira, thank you very much for your 99.90. I'm not sure which currency is that. Is it rupees? Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, so we are on the Hon 1 Hotel arrival for London Heathrow. We're looking good here. 7,800. All right, we're doing really well on the altitude as well. Very glorious looking airplane. Listen to those sounds, guys. We set our view. A beautiful day here in the UK. Very glad that we don't have a lot of clouds, so we can enjoy the approach into London Heathrow. The Vulcan could fly supersonic. Really? What do I think of this aircraft? I think it's absolutely great. Yeah. It is a remarkable aircraft. All right, here we are. We're approaching Bravo November. We're looking good in terms of our altitude. The landing speed, we're going to shoot for about 140 knots. And once we hit the ground... By the way, there's one thing I didn't show you guys. Let me show you real quick. So when you deploy the speed brakes, let me show you this. Look at that. How cool is that? Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, the aircraft wanted to obviously descend to maintain the speed. So there we go. We're back up now. All right, 5,000. All right, let's take a look here. We're still a few nautical miles, and then we'll switch to heading mode. I've set the heading bug already to fly exactly east of Bravo November. We're doing just fine in terms of the altitude, so we'll just leave it. The rate of descent is perfectly okay at this point. It can fly at 40,000 feet. That is correct. All right. So now we are at BNN. So it's trying to make the turn there. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to come here and switch this to bomb. And now we are going to fly to a east of the position over at from Bravo November, and this is going to, you'll see this now here in the map. See, the aircraft is turning, and we're going to fly in parallel to runway 27 left, which is right here. So this is 27 left, right down here. So we're going to fly parallel to it, and once we are at a reasonable distance, we'll begin traveling south towards the airport. All right, so here we go, and it should be at 2,500 feet. It's going to be a very nice, we're going to fly low and slow, as they say. So it's going to be nice. We get to enjoy some of the points of interest as we arrive into London Heathrow. And you know, I would not envy all the people that are currently there as the Avro Vulcan passes above their heads. That is correct, Carl, yes. Alright, so we're coming up to 2,500 feet. So what we're going to do in just a second here, 28 at exactly 27. So once we go below 28, I'm going to come here and we're going to now remove IS hold. And we're going to go to alt hold, and we're going to hold this altitude. Now we have to manage the speed. So we can, we'll leave the speed where it is. We don't really need that much, so I'm going to ease off on the throttle a little bit. And we're just going to maintain the speed for the time being. And then we should be able to, let's take a look here. Look at this, guys. Wow, look at. I mean, guys from the UK are probably more familiar than I am with this area. They can probably spot their houses or points of interest in these locations. Okay, speed is good. We want to reduce the speed once we start traveling south of our position. If we look here, we're still going to give the aircraft a little bit. We're just going to keep going a little bit in this heading, and then eventually we'll move down towards London Heathrow. The airport is exactly to our right now, so it is somewhere over there. I think that's London Heathrow right there. Speed is good, altitude is perfectly fine, and we are ready for the approach. It affects air density, it affects the speed, sound, because it is literally altering the medium travels through. Yeah. You know, Carl, I love your insight, again, from a real-world pilot. I learned a lot from you, Carl. Very, very insightful. All right, let's take a look here. We could start traveling south of our current position now. So let's go ahead and do that. Speed is good, so I'm going to now start traveling south. There we go. Oops. Right, exactly south of our position to intercept the localizer at London Heathrow for runway 27 left. Spectacular. Just look at it. Very, very nice. Microsoft Flight Simulator looks absolutely gorgeous. So, in my view, folks, this aircraft really checks on every little aspect of, you know, a review that normally the reviews that I do. It ticks all the boxes. The fidelity of the modeling the texture work, the authenticity, the sound set, complexity, electronic flight bag, documentation, sounds, everything is just done to a very, very high standard. Unbelievable. Unbelievable work. Right, you can see now we're flying exactly south towards London Heathrow. I'm going to start easing off on the throttle now to reduce our speed. Right, there we go. Start reducing the speed a little bit. Perfect. And the airport is somewhere right over there now. Oh, look at that. I think the airport is right there. Oops, what happened? I think... you see those little refineries there? I think that's when we can begin the turn. Lovely. Takes a while for things to load. One of the things I don't like about Microsoft Flight Simulator is this. Right. Speed. Let's give it some power here. Yeah, it looks like Gotham City right now until, you know, it loads. Yeah, we can see things loading in the distance there. All right, our speed is good. Let's take a quick look here. And just right in just a few seconds, I will engage the localizer. We are not too far from that's London Heathrow right there. All right. So at this point, folks, what we can do is we can go ahead and engage the localizer. And so let's come here. And the only thing you need to do now, since we already have set the frequency, we are going to select localizer. And you see here it says ILS. And that the aircraft has begun the turn now to intercept the localizer. Amazing that this actually happened in the 1960s. All right, and we're gonna go to glide slope, and we're gonna go to the autopilot and say glide. And that's the runway right there. Why is it let's give it power. Right, that's much better. All right. Let me reset my view. Landing gears coming down. And the aircraft is now descending towards the runway. Oof, speed. Again, you have to manage everything manually. So what I'm going to do is deploy the speed brakes. That will help us deploy the speed, slow down the aircraft. But you can see now that it's descending towards the runway properly, and the localizer is captured. Everything's looking good. We are in good shape. We'll leave the speed brakes on for a little while. And you can see beautiful alignment there with runway 27 left. We are on the localizer and the glide slope. We can retract the speed brakes now. And just bring the throttle back a little bit. We're a tad too fast, so I'd like to arrive at lower speed than that. But we're still looking good. And what we'll do now, folks, is we are going to disengage the autopilot. So this is the engage button. It's disengaged, and my aircraft. All right, let's see if I can butter this one for you guys. All right, speed is good. About 140. Still looking okay. Just give it a little more throttle here. And I'm just going to use the trim to trim the aircraft. It does feel very, very heavy. I have to tell you that. It has a heavy feel to it. Well, we can reduce the speed that way. All right, here we go. We're a bit too slow. Right, throttle's back. And let's deploy the chutes. Look at that, ladies and gents. How about that? Yeah. What do you guys think? Oops. Sorry, I was looking at chat. All right, we can retract the chutes. And we can bring the aircraft right here to a stop. That was a lot of fun, guys. To tell you, I really, really enjoyed flying the Avro Vulcan. 305, not bad. Right, we can go to taxi lights. Oops. We're off the taxiway there. Very, very beautiful looking aircraft. All right, let's see, where do we need? We can go all the way to the far end there. and just find a spot to park the aircraft. Well, what do you guys think of this rather beautiful beautiful old lady? She's definitely special, isn't she? Right, I don't know where I'm heading, but I think there might be some parking positions there. We'll bring the aircraft there. Yeah, there are a few parking positions there, so good place to bring the aircraft to a stop. Very nice rendition of London Heathrow by ADDONS. In fact, I think the best rendition of London Heathrow is the ADDONS rendition. Very, very nice. All right, we're going to bring it right here, stand 525. Would have nice to have a 558, but that's all right. All righty. Has identified Vulcan. Very nice. All right, here we go. 12 meters. And we can stop right here. All right, let's set the parking brake, which is set now. Excellent. We're going to come here to the lights, and we're going to retract the lights. Nav lights are off. Sternal lights are off. And we're going to kill the engines. Listen to those engine sounds. And there you have it, folks. I tell you, I really enjoyed the flight from A to B. Everything, this add-on is truly a very immersive, it provides you with a very immersive experience. And this is coming from someone who does not like military jets. I have thoroughly enjoyed learning this aircraft. The documentation makes everything so simple, very easy to follow in order to set up the aircraft. Again, a very extensive checklist, very extensive documentation, but again, I think it is tailored towards the advanced or the the casual simmer who just wants to fly the aircraft for fun. I think it is an aircraft that is very well developed in terms of the 3D modeling, the authenticity of the model, the sound set. Again, I can't wait for the 201 Olympus sound set, which is going to be available on release of the aircraft. So very, very nice aircraft. Highly recommended, guys. Even if you don't like military aircraft, this aircraft is one that I recommend. It comes, by the way, in 2 variants with a bunch of liveries. So depending on where you'd like to fly from, it offers a lot of very iconic liveries that will brings hour of enjoyment to your flying experience in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I want to again thank you all for being here this evening and for making my experience worthwhile here on this live stream. And of course, my heartfelt thank you goes to Scott from JustFlight for providing the channel with a copy of the aircraft to preview here on the Q8 Pilot channel. I want to thank you all once more for all the support that you have shown You guys are the best. I really enjoyed the stream. I hope that you've enjoyed it as well. And until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you all very soon. Stay safe and good night.